Brothers, oh, the cauldron cries, it singeth unto me songs of Mother Goddess and the Father in the tree.
Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and we are off adventuring into the spaces between. Being broadcast live tonight on Truth Frequency Radio, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and TalkStream Live. And if you're listening in on YouTube World, hello. Make sure you hit that like button, the thumbs up, and subscribe if you haven't already. If you're a new listener, hey, welcome. Thanks for joining. If you have any questions, let me know. It's wildepaisley@gmail.com. That's WILDEPAISLEY@gmail.com. Hope you all are having a lovely Saturday evening. Because, yeah, it's Saturday. You should have a good evening, right? Isn't that the way it works? In your quarantine bar? Isn't that what we're doing these days? Is, going from the couch to the kitchen to the quarantine bar? Anyways, no matter how you are hearing me, make sure you do stop in and say hello. Either in any of the chat rooms or send me the email. And, thanks for coming back, joining me here on my spiritual journey and, asking questions and making me think and stuff. So that's awesome. I'm being joined by Mr. Longbeard. Hello, Don.
Hi. Is my mic on?
Yes.
Hi. Oh, now I can hear me. Hi. How is everyone?
Yeah, you cheeky monkey, you. So, yes.
Cheeky monkey.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
Looks like Lucky, TF Union, Aussie, Cam, D, Elaine, Ethan, Justin, Lewis, Stephanie, Suzanne, Titan. And hey, look, there's you.
Yeah, and did you get Aussie Tiger?
Aussie Tiger?
Yes.
Yes, I always miss somebody because, well, yeah.
And Stephanie?
Justin, Stephanie.
And Suzanne?
Suzanne, I think I said Suzanne.
And Elaine?
Elaine, yeah. Maybe I should let you do this because you're better at it than I am. Because I say hello, my lovelies, just to start the chat room, and y'all are just kind of running with it. Yeah, don't make me think. It's a Saturday night.
Lucky's laughing because you didn't turn my mic on, kind of like what Brent does to me.
Hey, normally it's my mic that I forget to turn on, so...
That's true. That's true.
At least I got one of them. Yeah, just one. So, yes. If you want to support the show, please do so. You can go to etsy.com/Monarch Mountain Studio, and that's MTN for mountain. And then patreon.com is /the spaces between. And then, just so you know, the show is being sponsored by Aya Life. I got to thinking I should really promote that more since Mini-Me had just a really good response to it when she was sick.
Yeah.
So you can, it's a CBD oil. And just a personal note there is she had triple-digit temperatures. Nothing was keeping it down, bringing it down. And we had to go to the emergency room and urgent care and the doctor and teledoctor and doctor and teledoctor. Hey, Sonia, et cetera, and Bomber. And, triple-digit temperatures. They did the test. They said it wasn't the flu. It was just some random unnamed virus. Doing air quotes here. And anyways, nothing was bringing it down and keeping it down. So we gave her the Aya Life, and yeah, it's down, it's gone, and she's just back to her awesome, busy self. So yeah, just the mini-me. So yeah, it's ayalife.com. Check it out if you have any questions. By all means, there's an email there. Ask away. But yeah, I'm a big proponent of the Aya Life. It's good stuff. Even tastes halfway decent. Did you know that? Have you had any yet?
Yeah, of course I have.
All right.
It tastes oily, but that's because of the carrier. But I mean, it is what it is. It's good stuff.
Yeah, so it's good stuff. So yeah, ayalife.com. Check it out. The call line is open tonight too. I got all the stuff to talk about before I can talk about anything else.
Woods Wizard's here.
Hey, Mr. Woods Wizard, how you doing? It's up past your bedtime, sir.
It's past my bedtime.
Anymore. Mine too. Yeah, it's wow. This quarantine at home stuff, I gotta tell you, it is so hard to get up in the morning and to fall asleep at night. I just have so much I'd rather do.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have to go to work. That's kind of awesome. It's very awesome. But anyways, call line is open tonight. So if you want to share your thoughts or opinions, please do give me a call. It's 213-233-3998. Or if you're across the pond in the UK, it's 44203-393-2871. So how's your weekend going there, Mr. Don?
Oh, geez, it's been a weekend. I got online. We did a Zoom with. I did a Zoom with Cade. Actually, Cade wasn't able to make it, but boy, those Aussies. Oh man, it's like 8:30 p.m. their time. It's 2:30 p.m. here. And I'm like, oh, God. We talked for like 3 hours on Zoom last night. It was kind of awesome. It was really awesome. But I got up this morning. I felt like I had a hangover. I had a headache and just lethargic and just horrible.
So you closed down the Corona bar with the Aussies. Is that what this is?
Yeah, pretty much. Actually, apparently they went another hour after I left.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm like, you guys. Well, for them, it's just evening. For me, it's like very early morning.
That's true.
So.
That's true.
But otherwise, it's been a good weekend so far.
Good. I wish it'd warm up just a skosh.
Yeah, a little bit would be nice.
Or maybe not be quite so windy. It's supposed to be possibly in the 70s this next week, which I would love to see.
Oh, that'd be nice because they say that the virus going around dies in higher degree weather. Of course, we already know that sunlight kills viruses, so.
Yeah. That's a whole different kettle of fish.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. But, I mean, it should make things better.
Yes, I agree.
Is my point.
If for no other reason than I want to get out of the dang house. You know?
Yep.
And Mini-Me, I can tell when she needs to go outside because she starts running laps.
Mm-hmm.
In the kitchen, living room, dining room. And it's like, all right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you need a drink of water yet? 5? Maybe you should sit down. 6. Hello? 7. And it's like, holy cow, kid. If I had a fraction of her energy, I could get so much done. So much. But yeah, that's a different thing. So, yeah. Anyways. So, we have a rather random, not really random, but a big deal holiday for the pagan community coming up.
Random big deal holiday.
Yeah, you know. Well, it kind of is. So, Beltane and Samhain happen essentially on the same day, just, as opposite hemispheres, of course. So Beltane is coming up here this week. It's generally celebrated from sunset to sunset, from April 30th to May 1st. And the same time in the southern hemisphere, it's Samhain. So just need to kind of, I don't know. As Samhain often is associated with the thinning of the veils and Halloween and such, but here in the U.S., it's Beltane, or in the northern hemisphere, but it's still got the same thinning of the veil, same energy to it as Samhain generally does, because yet the reverse is true for when it's Samhain here, it's Beltane down in the southern hemisphere. Now, I've also heard it pronounced Beltane. So, again, there's some pronunciation issues with some of the holidays because they are not necessarily in the Queen's English. Or American English. Or any version of English that I've ever encountered. So, yeah. And I do try to, if I am going to be trying to pronounce a word that is written in Gaelic. I I do try to Google it just a little bit, and do. There's a couple different pronunciation apps and translation apps that you can find nowadays, to see if I can phonetically figure this blimey thing out. Because those letters go together in a different way.
Yeah, they have some odd groupings of their consonants and their
Yeah.
vowels. Oh, they have some real odd ones. Gaelic is in ancient Gaelic is even worse.
Right? Can you imagine trying to read that?
No,
Mm-hmm.
nope.
I suppose if I was a professorial type or highly educated, I would learn these things, but I'm not. So I just kind of flounder around, look up the translation, and then phonetically type it out so I can hopefully get it kind of right. And I apologize way up front if I really mess it up. So anyways, so Beltane is the celebration, kind of the halfway point between spring equinox and summer solstice. It's definitely got its roots in the British Isles. Beltane's this just honors the spring at its peak as we're moving towards summer, and it's a holiday that's been celebrated in Europe a lot, and it had kind of died out as we got into the 20th century. But now, it's kind of had a resurgence with the neo-pagan movement and such. So nowadays, our contemporary pagans are, celebrate bonfires, dancing, various rituals, and just to celebrate the occasion. Now, if you want to learn more about that or have some curiosity as far as that goes, learnreligions.com actually has some really good information, surprisingly. Just be aware that some of that information is written by a Christian, so it may not always be the most accurate or most informed. So check the sources, because just like going to Wikipedia, often what's written in Wikipedia is not 100% accurate, but if they cite their sources and those sources are not Wikipedia, you can really get some good information. And that's just true in general for anything you're trying to research and kind of discover. And so Beltane is mentioned just in some of the very earliest Irish literature, and it's associated with ancient events in Irish mythology, and is also known as is one of those words, Kestia Samhain. Kestia Samhain, I think that's how you say it, which is the first of summer, and it marked the beginning of summer when cattle were driven out to summer pastures. I know, like here in the Pacific Northwest, we finally have green grass. Mm-hmm. If it keeps this up, the yard may need to be mowed in the next week, but I would bundle up if you're going to do that because it's bloody cold out there. Anyways, so rituals were performed during this time when the cattle were driven to protect the cattle, the crops, and the people, and to encourage growth because people are planting things right now. And often special bonfires were kindled, and their flames, smoke, and ashes were considered to have important protective powers. The people and the cattle would walk around or between different bonfires, and sometimes jump over the bonfires or embers, and to have that cleansing and purification. And then all household fires would be doused and then relit from the single Beltane fire. And what are you doing?
Just keep going.
Okay, you just keep getting up and touching things, and my ear changes. The gatherings, of course, would be accompanied by a feast because you can't really have a party without food. One of those cows may not have made it to the summer pasture. It probably got put on a spit over the fire. And then the food and the drink would be offered to the Aweshi, which was the spirits, And then the doors, windows, buyers, and livestock would be decorated with yellow mayflowers, possibly because they, yellow kind of looks like fire. And in parts of Ireland, people would make a May bush, which is often a thorn bush or branch, decorated with flowers, ribbons, bright shells, rushlights, that kind of thing. Holy wells were visited, and Beltane dew, so that's the moisture that gathers on the grass, Beltane morning, was thought to bring beauty and maintain youthfulness. So basically you touch the grass or the leaves, and you wash your face with it to maintain your beauty. And so many of these customs are part of May Day or Midsummer festivals in other parts of Great Britain and Europe. So it's just kind of a fun. I'm tired of winter, and I'm ready for summer party because I don't know, I'm a farm kid. I get it. You want to move the cattle to a different pasture. Often it means the calves have dropped. Calving season is done and over with. And hey, Julia, and it's your time. Spring cleaning. Your time to move on. So this a good time for spring cleaning, by the way, because you're getting rid of the dirt or the energy and the spirits of winter, and you're just getting rid of the stuff. If you're into purging your space, I'm not going to look at my craft area.
As I stare at your craft area.
It's better than it was. You just can't tell. Anyways, purging the craft area. Sometimes you just need to get rid of stuff. I would take some stuff to the thrift store, but I can't right now. Did you know that?
Yeah,
They're closed.
Yep.
So yeah, it's frustrating. So yeah. So Beltane is also known as May Eve, May Day, Walpurgis Night. I hope I did that one right. And it happens at the beginning of May, just celebrating May. It celebrates the height of spring. And the goddess is generally manifested as the May Queen, and then the god emerges as the May King or Jack in the Green. And the dance around the May pole represents their unities, with the pole itself is kind of phallic, and representing the god, and then the ribbons that encompass it represent the goddess. And the colors are just, in the rainbow spectrum, and it's just a celebration. Beltane's a festival of flowers and fertility and sensuality and good times. Because there's other ways to celebrate Beltane, of course, because not all of them are family friendly or elderly friendly or handicap friendly. You just kind of be aware, and it's, if you do a Google search, and I do recommend you do a search to get your own information, because it's good for you to research. You can find other ways to celebrate, because there's if someone can't get out, like right now, you really aren't supposed to leave the house. You're not supposed to have big gatherings. It might be an interesting time to do May baskets, May Day baskets. I don't know. I remember doing those when I was a kid. Do you remember doing those?
I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
So, a May Day basket, actually, so May Day is the basket itself, picking flowers and giving them to other people. It's a secular thing, I suppose, but is a pagan roots. So basically, you pick flowers, or you decorate a basket, and you leave it on the doorstep of someone that needs to be uplifted or receive flowers, and you kind of ding dong ditch, and you leave the surprise on the doorstep that there's a basket of flowers.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
Yeah. So, but I mean, that's oddly, that's what my grandmother used to do.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Well, my grandmother loved to garden, and she had a big, beautiful rose garden. She had so many flowers. Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. And she spent so much time. It was her hobby and her piece. And she would pick roses and lilies and lilacs and all sorts of different things. And she put them in these little vases that I don't know where she came up with them. And yeah, she would literally leave them, at the doorstep and ring the doorbell and walk away.
Woods Wizard says you can do a May bush or a branch hanging ribbons on the bush or the branch. So that would be a little easier to do.
Yes, or you go to the dollar store and you buy a bunch of fake flowers and make one.
Because that's worth it.
Yeah, you never know. Some people need that brightness right now.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Or ribbons. I mean, okay, I like going to the dollar store to get stuff for my pagan practice or my crafting and stuff because the cost is minimal. And I get so much stuff, and it's such a variety. I've been pleasantly surprised by the spectrum of stuff available at the dollar store. So,
Aussie Tiger says a chocolate basket for me, please.
Hey, you know what? I am fine with chocolate or coffee or tea or chocolate or coffee. Yeah, any of those. Caramels. So yes, you can prepare a May basket or a May branch, and you're going to fill it with flowers, goodwill. This time of year, or this season, maybe a roll of toilet paper, because it's bizarre. Just and basically, you just give it to someone who's in need of healing and caring, like a shut-in or an elderly person, someone who's disabled.
A widower,
widow, people who can't get out because, it's, especially right now, it seems to be just stressful for a lot of people because they can't get out anyways. And for some of those shut-ins who used to rely on going to like the senior center or something like that, it may be time to stop in and check on them from a distance or with your mask on, that kind of thing, and make sure they're okay. So bring them some cans of vegetables or something. You'd be surprised what those little folks like. You can make a wreath of flowers and wear it. Just enjoy the day, embrace the beauty of it. No matter what you do, dress in bright colors. And, if you are in a situation where you can dance a maypole, by all means do it. But I don't know, it's a little harder unless you have a big family that you all live with. But even then, that's a little weird. But just, on May Eve, you can bless your garden in the old way. By making love with your lover in the garden.
Oh.
Yeah. Plow the field there, guys.
Both literally and figuratively.
Right. Make a wish as you jump over a bonfire or candle flame for good luck. Welcome the May at dawn with singing and dancing. Now, I got to tell you, I'm old-ish. And the idea of staying up all night and having that much fun and good times and then celebrating the sunrise too, I don't know if I can do that. Hey, Gemini. Yeah, that's just... Yeah, celebrate. Yeah, Sonia, I agree. You donate some food to the food bank. That's a good idea. I mean, it's...
and that's actually a great idea because the food banks are broke right now.
Yeah. Food banks, the senior centers are having issues because a lot of them, rely on grants and donations and people just giving money or giving of themselves to prepare the food or to deliver food. And it's... it's pretty stressful out there for folks. And, if you call up the senior center, often you can say, hey, does someone need help? And they'll have a list of things or people that might need help. Or, If you call the churches, sometimes they know, or your pagan circles sometimes know people also, or even not really health and welfare because of HIPAA, but churches sometimes, not churches, hospitals or health clinics sometimes know of ways to help people or in that kind of thing. So, just it's stressful out there right now, and I get it. Do what you can to help out and to spread the joy a little bit. So, 20 seconds. Any thoughts
No.
besides plowing the fields?
Oh, goodness. I said no, and then you went there.
Oh yeah, because I can. So, but yeah, we're going to break because bottom of the hour, and so we'll see you guys in a bit. And remember, the call line is open. If I don't get to you, it's because I didn't see you there because I'm talking too much. We'll be right back.
Lord, within the sun, as we will, so mote it be, the spell forever does.
Mother of darkness, mother of light, earth beneath us, soul in flight, songs of love and love of life, guide us to our heart. Mother of darkness, mother of light, earth beneath us, soul in flight, songs of love and love of life, guide us to our heart. Sister
tears of the shining moon, heaven, earth, and sea. I call upon you in this hour, bring magic unto me. Brothers, oh, the cauldron cries, it singeth unto me. Songs of Mother Goddess and the Father in the tree.
Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and we are off adventuring into the spaces between. Hey, Jessica, and everybody else. Keep seeing more and more people pop in. Make sure you're hitting that like button. I need the stats. I'm begging you. Hit the like button. Share it far and wide. Let everybody know all about the show. Because why not? It's fun. It's good, right?
Yes, it's fun. It's good.
Yes. Kind of like a Beltane party.
Yes, fun and good.
Fun
Plowing
and good.
fields.
Plowing fields.
You're the one who said it.
Hey, you know.
You brought it up.
I know. But, you know, it's...
They got to be planted, dang it.
They do. They do have to be planted. Although, I need a garden tiller.
Okay.
Otherwise, I have to go out there with my hoe and do it the old-fashioned way, which is just back-breaking with a hoe. It's a metal blade on a stick, you dirty old man. Yeah, I got a team of hoes. I'm going to make them go out there and turn the soil.
Oh, I get my new camera on Tuesday.
It's not that kind of party. I swear.
You started it.
I know. I know I did. Yeah, smash the like button. So yeah. Did you guys do it? Did you do it? Hey, look at that. I got more likes. Thank you.
And just like that.
Just like that. So, yeah, going to Maine, or bringing in the May, merrymaking, May making, nature communion, that kind of thing. That's all other names for May Day, or Beltane, which I've always kind of celebrated the May Day because that was something that like I said, my grandmother did, and she kind of liked to put out flowers and stuff. She'd even go and decorate like the headstones of people who passed. It was almost a family tradition to go pick flowers and then go to the cemeteries and leave flowers. It wasn't Memorial Day or anything like that. No, we did it on May Day.
Well, yeah.
So
it's amazing how, you know, our older generations, because we don't see it too often anymore in the newer generations, but the older generations and these secular things, not secular things, but these things the older generations done because they were taught that from their grandparents and their grandparents and their grandparents, which is the way it should be. And yet they still keep doing these things, and it's tradition, but they don't know what tradition exactly it comes from. And so these Abrahamic faiths, or well, it's only actually one Abrahamic faith, but anyhow, they keep doing these things like Christmas, you know, and you know, the May Day stuff, and they don't have any idea where it really came from. It's just kind of ironic in that sense. So
right. Yeah, it is very, very interesting. Because it's tradition. It's the way we've always done it, without necessarily knowing where the foundation came from. As even in pagan Rome, Floralia is from April 27th to May 3rd. Basically, it's the festival of the flower goddess Flora and the flowering of springtime. On May 1st, offerings were made to Bonadea as Mother Earth, and the Laris, or the household guardian spirits, and Maya, who is the goddess of increase, from whom May gets its name. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
And then, get this, Roman Catholic traditions of crowning statues of Mary with flowers on May 1st have Roman pagan roots.
No
So
surprise there.
yeah. Yes, Ethan, there's a blue streak in my hair. I was swearing a blue streak and it came out in the hair. No, I'm kidding. So, funny thing, being in coronavirus lockdown, you get bored. So you start experimenting. So yeah, we've been doing different colors. Yeah. And right now I've got some blue streaks where the grays were. It's kind of fun because it was supposed to be green. So, anyways, yeah, the Roman pagan roots. They put flowers on it on the statues of Mary, which are pagan, anyways. But the Beltane generally marks the second half of the Celtic year. It is one of the 4 primary fire festivals in the Celtic traditions. And it is the complement to Samhain, so it's just the...
Well,
Yeah.
mentioning that, Neil in the chat room says, interesting and not really something I think about much, but I just read that Beltane is celebrated October 31st, November 1st in the Southern Hemisphere.
Mhm. Yes. So that's when we celebrate Samhain here in the Northern Hemisphere. It's just
It's,
because the calendar is opposite. And
well, the seasons are opposite.
Seasons are opposite. So, and yeah, they are going into their fall season. And speaking of fall season, it's been an interesting fire year in general. I mean, Australia was on fire for quite a while. California's been on fire was on fire for quite a while. And all that smoke got up in the air and everybody was like, oh no, all this smoke. And we did this shutdown and suddenly the skies are clearing.
Mm-hmm.
And it is definitely a small test, I guess, of what nature can do.
Mm-hmm. So quickly.
Yeah, I don't think
I read
anybody expected it to happen quite so fast.
I read something somewhere that said that even the ozone hole, the hole in the
Mhm.
ozone layer is healing up too. But then again, we just go back to the idea that the weather is cyclical. It comes through. There's ice ages anywhere from every 12 to 15,000 years, whether they be major ice ages or mini ice ages. There's the slipping of the crust.
Mm-hmm.
That happens every now and then. Because
Or the North Pole has moved slightly.
well, the magnetic north, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So it's all cyclical. So who's to say that the ozone layer didn't have this problem 12,000, 15,000 years ago, and because of, I don't know, dinosaur farts, I don't know.
Well, they say that a volcanic eruption puts more pollution into the atmosphere than anything that we've done in the last 50 to 100 years or something. It was a pretty big number. It's like, really? One volcano? And it's not like you can just put a cork in it.
Right. Well, talk about, it's like when Vesuvius blew, or Krakatoa. These big, what's going to happen if Yellowstone ever blows? That's
Talk about world altering.
yes.
Yeah.
So
The air in California has definitely cleared, and they haven't killed off all the cows.
yeah, they say they can see the skyline in San Francisco this year.
Right. And places in India can see the mountains for the first time in like 75 years. It's insane. And those are highly populated places that were highly populated a century ago.
Mhm.
And
And it's interesting how this is all happening around Beltane too.
I really do feel that time is cyclical. 100%. And what has been will come again, and what will be has been before. I mean, it'll happen again. Ice ages will happen on this earth again. And it's ridiculous to think and very egotistical to think that mankind can stop
Yeah.
some of those things from
Yeah.
happening.
You can't push the pause button on that.
No, because weather happens. Unfortunately, to some extremes and others. So it's I don't know. It's just interesting times that we live in, and thinning of the veil right now as we move into Beltane week in Samhain. You know, listen to what the spirits have to say.
Right.
I think we may get a few messages that we did not anticipate, and I think the world is shifting in general, and we've talked about that before. How the energy seems to be shifting for the world as in a whole, not just. I don't know if it's a spiritual awakening for the world or an energetic awakening for the world, but it feels shifted slightly. And I was talking to a friend of ours earlier today about how it just feels a little surreal outside.
It can, yeah.
And we've had some winds that we don't normally have here. It's like they're from a different direction almost. And it's, I don't know, it's almost like, for those of you who have been around tornadoes and you know what the light from the clouds is like leading up to a tornado, that pregnant pause in the air. You can't quite smell the ozone from the lightning, but it's almost there. And it really does. It feels like that pregnant pause before something big happens. And whether that happens in the next week with Beltane and the thinning of the veil, or if it'll happen later in the year. So I don't know. It's interesting. That's for darn sure. So anyways, we're talking about Beltane. Before we get too deep, we're just talking about holidays and partying it up and such, and then we got deep. But it's definitely a period of celebration this next week, regardless of being Beltane or Samhain. The maypole, which I referenced earlier, is generally a pole. It could be a tree. It could be a bush. It could be a cross, but I don't know why you'd go there.
How about a Staros?
Right. It's can be a communal, like a community type maypole, or it could be a household one. It could be a permanent feature or structure, or it could be one that is put up annually. So in Germany, fir trees were cut on May Eve by young unmarried men. The branches were removed and decorated and put up in the village square, and then guarded all night until the dancing occurred on May Day. And then in England, permanent maypoles were erected on village greens, which makes you wonder how they got all the ribbons up there. But anyways, and in some villages, there's smaller maypoles in the yards of different households. So the ribbon dance is just two circles interweaving around the decorated bush or tree. It's a clockwise type of dance. The flowers, gathering the exchange of flowers and greens on May Eve or pre-dawn on May Day, or Beltane. You decorate your homes, barns, other buildings with green budded branches, including the hawthorn. You can make or wear wreaths of flowers and or greenery. It's really just party it up. And then May baskets were given or placed secretly on doorsteps to friends, shut-ins, lovers, or others. And then May bowl was a punch. It could be with wine or non-alcoholic, made of sweet woodruff blossoms. I'm not sure what that is, but sounds interesting. Throw some vodka in there. Spike the punch. Now, Beltane fires are generally considered very, very sacred. And traditionally, they were kindled by spark or from flint or friction. They weren't lit with lighter or matches, the more traditional. You can jump over the Beltane fire, move through it, or dance clockwise around it. Just, again, it's that whole cleansing thing. And Druid In ancient times, Druid priests kindled it around sacred places, and then later times, interestingly enough, Christian priests kindled it in fields near the churches, performing a Christian church service. So it's just the Christian faith taking over the pagan traditions, trying to bring people into the fold. So Titan goes bewitched trees for middle-aged divorced guys, maybe weeping willows. Maybe weeping willows. I'll talk about trees and what types of trees in a bit. And Mr. Wizard grows woodruff, and it doesn't bloom until a little past Beltane here. So yeah, unfortunately here in the Pacific Northwest, we have a slightly later growing season than other places. For instance, I was talking to my dad today because he started calling randomly, and his iris blooms are almost done for the season, and my irises have not even thought about blooming yet. There's no buds. We're 3 weeks out probably. So yeah. So just do what you can with what you have. I think that's something that a lot of us on the pagan path really need to pay attention to is, do what you can with what you have. You don't have to have a bunch of fancy stuff to have a good Beltane celebration.
Right. Aussie says he needs a good cleansing, like a fire ceremony.
Also, you may be correct there. I sent you some information. I hope you reach out to one of those folks, or the contact information I sent you, because, there's probably going to be someone running amok and having a Beltane fire in your neighborhood.
They're getting fined $1,600 for being out during this quarantine time. $1,600.
Well, dress in black and do it at night. I mean, holy buckets, Batman. That's insane. $1,600?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what your Australian friend said last night?
That's what a lot of people said. As a matter of fact, Aussie mentioned it earlier in the chat. But yeah, I know. There was an article I read of a gal in Australia that got fined $1,600, and they can't fight it.
That's insane. Now, I know here in Idaho there's been a couple of stories about people trying to buck the rules.
Okay, you know what?
But I read those stories, and I got some more information on those, and
they needed it. They were being stupid.
Yeah, they had it coming. So, also, you may just have to light a candle on your patio and jump over it. Jack, be nimble.
Jack, be quick.
Don't burn your candlestick.
Don't burn your sack on the candlestick.
So
it's called plowing the fields, not burning them away.
It's not that kind of purge. So, it's... Yeah. Without a valid reason during this virus lockdown. Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah.
I can't even.
Yeah, so...
I'm drinking water. It's not enough.
Crazy. Yeah.
I gotta... supposedly here in Idaho, on this note, while we're here, we're going to start our phased-in reopening of the state of Idaho.
Do you do really? Okay, sorry. No, it's not that kind of show. Keep going.
Yeah. So, yeah, bombers snuck to the river. Sneak into the woods too, hug a tree. And that's... Unfortunately, even though a lot of pagans don't really congregate, we just really want to go hug a tree. We're not allowed to. Everything's locked down. So yeah, try not to go too slightly crazy. You could hug a virtual tree. I know it's not quite the same. Suppose I could ship you a piece of birch bark. I've got some extra. But yeah, just be safe, everyone. You do what you can with what you have. And it doesn't have to be a fire. It could, seriously, it could just be a candle ceremony instead of a fire ceremony.
You know, could you do like you talked about, like writing your intent on a bay leaf and burning the bay leaf?
Yes.
Go into that. Maybe that'll help Aussie out a little more.
So, hold on. The magical correspondence of bay leaves, which are actually kind of important. It's a fire element, just so you know. And if you burn bay leaves in general, they're good to exorcise harmful energies. And they can help you, kind of cleanse your sacred space. And it has some healing abilities to it. So you could, I suppose technically you could keep a bay leaf in your pocket, put it in your wallet, that kind of thing. But, geez, Aussie, $1 million?
Yeah, he said $1 million in the first week.
Nice.
Weekend. That's only 2 or 3 days, not a week. Holy
I guess that's
crap.
one way to pay for all the money they're handing out. Anyways, different story, different show. But so yeah, if you have bay leaves, you can get the ones, you can buy them at the grocery store in the spice section, or if you've got them growing wild, or if you have them in your kitchen cabinet, that kind of thing. You just use a pen, write your intent or what it is you want cleansed from you, and that energy that you need to release, and you can do several if you need to, and they burn pretty freaking awesome. You just light your candle. You could even use a birthday candle. They generally burn relatively quickly. So it's for a short ceremony. Birthday candles are really good because you don't have to worry about, waiting for a couple hours for them to burn out or that kind of thing. Make sure you've got a plate or something to put the bay leaf on while it's on fire, or in a bowl. I do recommend practicing safe fire. Just, be safe. Don't burn down your apartment, because that's really hard to self-quarantine when your apartment's on fire. Yeah, just, be safe. And yeah, intentions on the bay leaf. You can do it on paper, little slips of paper if you want to. And burn them in a candle. I've got a little votive candle right here. I think those are a 6-pack at the dollar store. Or you can get a box of, seriously, birthday candles are good because they come in different colors. So
They're 24-pack.
Yeah. I thought they were 12.
No,
They're
because
24.
they're back to back in there.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, I use birthday candles for candle magic all the time because they come in different colors and they burn often relatively quickly. And if I'm trying to send healing energy to someone or happiness or anything like that that's generally associated with happy birthday, I use a birthday candle because that's just what it signifies to me. So yeah, if you ever wonder what to get me for a holiday or something, give me a couple boxes of birthday candles.
They have them at the dollar store.
Mm-hmm.
Cheap.
Yep. So yeah, if you know someone who's a shut-in and can't get out to get stuff for their practice, maybe in the May basket, include a box of birthday candles and a little package of matches and maybe a cute little shot glass to burn them in so they are a nice safe spot. So yeah, it's just a different way to kind of cleanse yourself and prepare yourself. So Man, you guys did math a couple weeks ago. Now you're just dropping birthdays and all sorts of stuff in the chat room.
Well, they're talking about what signs and what
Zodiacs.
what elements are related to them. Yeah.
I'm an air sign.
Yeah.
It's all good. Supposedly, never mind. Different show. Anyways, ba-ba-da-dum.
Gosh, they're so young too.
I know, right?
Like 88, 82. Jeez, I was in high school.
It's amazing.
We love you all.
Yes. Yeah, it's. I don't know. I feel that once you reach 21, age is just a number. Yeah, just deal with it. Generally speaking. But, be the age you want to be. Yeah, just be the age you want to be. So, hey, guess what? Top of the hour. We're going to break because, hey, we can. And, is anybody? Nope, no one called in. So, yes. So, we'll see you guys in just a few.
Are Lord within the sun? As we will, so mote it be, the spell forever done.
Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and yeah, we're off adventuring into the spaces between because we can. Yep. With Mr. Longbeard.
Hi.
Just checking to see if you're awake. Did you see the chat room said you're old?
Yeah. Aussie said something about me being caveman old. Yeah. You've probably seen some of my handprints on those caves from way back when. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. That'll work. So, anyways, we are talking about Beltane because it's coming up. I would talk more about sewing, but for me, it's the wrong time of the year.
I thought you said sewing.
With a needle and thread. No, sewing. And, but yes, it's just a similar holiday, I should say, just a different time of the year. 6 months apart, so yeah. If you are doing a fire ritual for Beltane, you can jump over a Beltane fire, you can move through it, or you can dance clockwise around it. Now, I think last year I did a private one at home. I did a group ceremony. I did a public group thingy in Washington. Met up with Woods Wizard and Julia was there and just had a good time. We did there's a ceremony and everything, a ritual I should say, and it was good. It was interesting and but we did one privately here at home too. With the mini-me, and I just had a little bucket with some fire in it because that seemed appropriate, and she got a charge out of it. But if you've got a citronella candle, you could probably use that. But yeah, just kind of pay attention if it's a candle you're using, or even incense. If you wanted to use like a sage or lavender type incense for cleansing, maybe cedar. You could do the same kind of thing. Go stand in the smoke a little bit to let the smoke cleanse you, and then walk or dance clockwise while you're what?
Well, so you keep saying clockwise, and the word Widdershин always pops into my head because it's opposite. It's counterclockwise.
Yes.
Is that a pagan word, or is that more of a neo word?
No, I think that's a pagan word.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just etymology. Sorry.
Squirrel?
Yes.
Yeah. Docile and Widdershins. So docile is clockwise. Widdershins is opposite.
Right.
And yeah, they are kind of pagan type words, witchcraft type words. So yeah, dance docile around the fire or clockwise. Yeah.
It's important to know the difference, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, it is because different rotations have slightly different meanings.
So if you went counterclockwise, would it mean I don't want to be fertile? I don't need the plow from the field plowed. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. It's funny. Actually, you are kind of funny. It's part of it is intent. Make sure you're setting your intent before you do it. And maybe you do need to go the other direction because your guys are telling you need to unwind instead of wind up. I don't know.
Is that like going to confession and having your slate wiped clean?
Something like that, yeah. Say your Hail Marys. But so in ancient times, Druids kindled the fires in sacred spaces. I think I mentioned that earlier. In the Christians, really, they did. They it was a planned movement to convert the pagans to Christianity by adopting and having some similar ceremonies on pagan holidays.
Is that a Constantine thing?
I think it's just a church thing. Whether Constantine started it or the Catholic Church finished it, it just
Well, we know they did.
It's just a thing. Rowan twigs were often carried around the fire 3 times, then hung over the hearth to bless the home. In the past, Beltane community fire purification customs included symbolic sacrifice of effigy knobs on the Beltane cake of barley to the fire, or in medieval times, a mock sacrifice of Beltane hag who received blackened pieces of Beltane cake. And then maypoles in Spain were topped with a male effigy, which was later burned. So, yeah, there's a lot of burning at Beltane. Contemporary pagans burned sacred wood and dried herbs as offerings in their Beltane fires. So, if you wanted to do make a Beltane cake and burn it in your little fire, you could as an offering. So just thinking of Aussie and cleansing and everything. Yeah, the sage smoke would be good for you, or cedar, I think. And then you could make a straw doll or an effigy, if you will.
Puppet.
A puppet. If you wanted to use corn husks, if you have a grocery store that you can shop in one at a time, and they have the stuff to make tamales. You can get corn husks and you can get them wet, and then you can twist them up and to make a poppet and let it dry out, and then you can burn that in your little ceremony to
burn it in effigy.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, and not just when it comes to May waters, not just getting your hands wet and wiping your face down with the dew. So rolling in the May Eve dew when you're plowing the fields.
Oh God, I knew that was coming.
You had to know it was coming. You can, or washing your face in the pre-dawn May Day dew for health, luck, and beauty. Or if it's raining, it's a blessing. You can go to springs or ponds or other sacred waters, and leave flowers or garlands, ribbons floating in the water as an offering. Or you can collect sacred waters and try scrying in sacred springs, wells, ponds, and other waters. So I don't really have any of those locally.
Yes, you do.
Well, sort of. It's complicated. Not sacred, though.
Well, that depends on what makes it sacred.
This is true. I think the ponds here are man-made. But there's this big old lake that we're not supposed to go to.
Well, you got the river just a block and a half away.
15 minutes out of town. It's not a block.
Whatever.
It's a stone's throw. Get your...
That's like Roger Clemens kind of a throw.
It could happen. I don't know. Not my... I could probably shoot a coyote over there.
Yeah, that's true.
Beltane is, because it is a fertility time, union with the land and fertility is kind of a big deal. Often actually consummating the thought out in the lands to bless the fields. The May Queen or May Bride is the personification of the earth goddess. And then the May King is the groom, is the personification of the vegetation god, or Jack in the Green. And they can have a symbolic union, or they can have a literal one, depending on what you got going on there. So it can be ritualistic or it can be literal. But basically, you're trying to awaken the fertility in the land as you're getting ready to plant and move forward with spring. Beltane's often a time when there's a lot of hand fastings because you're blessing the union, moving forward.
Jumping the broom.
Jumping the broom. So, hand fastings traditionally have been a year and a day, which is kind of like a trial marriage.
Which is funny because you're not actually technically in prison until you're in for a year and a day.
What do you have against marriage?
That's it. marriage, marriage is an institution, but so is prison.
Oh, jeez. So today, traditionally it was the year and a day. Today, the length of commitment is a matter of choice for the couple, and it can often be for life. So they're not necessarily a year and a day. It can just be permanent. I personally think it should be contractual. I want to be married for 10 years, and then we just split up and we go our separate ways. Anybody should be able to get married. Make it a contract. Take religion out of it if you're going to tax people for it.
That's not religion, that's government.
Exactly. That's why I said take religion out of it if you're going to tax people for it.
Oh, gotcha.
But yeah. Wouldn't it just ruin the lives of a lot of divorce attorneys out there if they found out that, yes, you could have a contract marriage, it ends at, 10 years and everything's written down, and so at 10 years, you guys go your separate ways and the attorney doesn't get anything? I just say 10 years because I know a lot of people at 10 years have problems. My own parents did, so it's not just a 7-year itch. It can be the 10-year stretch, I guess.
The 10-year stretch.
Yeah, the handfasting ceremonies are often unique to a couple, but it do include common elements like the exchange of vows and rings or another token.
Binding of hands.
Mm-hmm. And the actual act of handfasting always involves the tying of the hands together, or tying the knot, which, hey, how often have we heard that two people are tying the knot? Yeah, that's pagan. So tying the hands of the two people involved in a figure 8. And then at some point later in the ceremony, unbinding is often done with a red cord or ribbon. And tying the hands symbolizes that two people have come together, and the untying means that they will remain together of their own free will. They're no longer forced together, they're just going to do it.
Being forced together is called a shotgun wedding.
Right. Oh, mini-me. Another common element is jumping the broomstick. So it goes back to a time when people could not afford a fancy church wedding or want one, and but they wanted to be accepted in the community as a married couple. So they would literally jump over a broom laid on the floor, and the broom marked an artificial threshold. So they would be moving from the old life to the new one together.
I wonder if that has anything to do with carrying the wife over the threshold of the...
Probably.
Yeah.
Hey, look, another thing that people do modern times that were pagan. But mead and cakes are often shared in communion as part of the ceremony. Mead is known as the brew of the divine and made from honey, which is appropriate for a love ceremony because mead is the oldest alcoholic drink known to mankind.
Yuck.
So, yeah. Well, if you mix it with something else, you seem to like it, okay?
Yeah, elderberry that's already been fermented.
You say this like it's a bad thing.
Mostly elderberry.
I still want to try sake sometime.
4,000. What?
I want to try making sake.
I'm not against that.
I mean, it's... Yes, lucky they still do that threshold thing.
Depending on a few things.
Provided, it's not the case of Jack Sprat and his wife who could eat no fat. Or she could eat no lean, he could eat no fat, whatever.
Jack Sprat could eat no fat.
That's
His
what it
wife
was.
could eat no lean.
So, yeah. And...
Which is irony.
Right. And I have seen a few couples that are very disproportionate in size. And if his eyeballs are at her chest level, I don't see him picking up and carrying her anywhere. He's kind of focused, so... Renee, you're bad. Ginger mead, yum. Yeah, sake, not all sake is created equal, and if you don't like it, you may have not had it at the right temperature.
You didn't, yes, exactly. Yes.
Because
there are some sakes best cold, there are some sakes best at room temperature, and there are some sakes that should never be consumed over the temperature of 75 degrees. But some people like it at 104, which is like getting into a freaking hot tub.
Yeah.
But if its alcohol content is too high,
Hmm.
it is so not good for you.
Yeah. 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 There's, I like sake.
I do too.
Yes. So, going to Maine is hand fasting or not. Both young and old would go a Maine, which is where couples would spend the night in the woods and fields and make love and bring back armfuls of the first May or hawthorn blossoms to decorate their homes and barns. Now, hawthorn was never brought into the home except at Beltane because at other times it was considered unlucky. Everyone was free to enact the sacred marriage of the goddess and god, and there was an accepted tradition of Beltane babies arriving 9 months later.
You figure.
Now, in a lot of these, so just to address it because I can right now, pagans are often considered fast and loose with morals when it comes to conjugal relations. And often it's assumed that if you are pagan or a witch, that you really don't care about who you're knocking boots with. And there was or has been in the past an accepted practice of, partner trading, swapping, not spending the same time with your significant other. Oh no, I didn't kick Don off the camera. Oops, sorry. Don's in secret giving me dirty looks now. I'm kidding.
No, not.
They don't know. But no.
That's true. It's your story. You can tell it.
Right?
Anyhow.
So anyways,
You were talking about knocking boots with
Yeah.
someone other than your significant other.
yeah, so it was accepted. Especially in older times. In many ways, we're very Victorian nowadays, and sex is almost a taboo.
You mean? Oh, okay. Victorian. Yes.
Everybody wants to knock boots, but they don't want to talk about it, and they don't always want to knock boots with the people they're supposed to be knocking boots with. So, but in Beltane, it was kind of an accepted practice that you would knock boots with whomever. Maybe it was the excess amounts of mead people were drinking. And and you just would accept the child that came 9 months later as being yours. So, I don't know. Yeah. So traditionally, the colors of Beltane are green, red, and white or silver. The green would represent growth and abundance and fertility. Red would represent strength, vitality, passion, and vibrancy. And white represents cleansing and clearing the power to disperse negativity. So, now, there's, I guess, some other stuff in here. Most, other ways to celebrate. So, because this is a celebration of the wedding between the god and the goddess, dress it up a little bit. Have a good time. Take advantage of the opportunity to put on a little extra makeup right now. Because, why not? Dress up a little bit. It's celebration. So dress in your best, especially in green. Wear a flower crown. Stay out all night. Watch the sunrise.
Stay out at night while social distancing.
Right? Baby Longbeard. All I can think of is that app with the baby and the beard. Never mind. Make pick a new project. What are you going to do? And move forward with it. And if you have an altar at home, dress it up with some greenery. Hawthorn, rowan, birch, that kind of thing. And if you do collect from a tree, make sure you ask and say thank you. So that's something I've been teaching Mini-Me. She's been collecting moss for Groot. She thought he was lonely, so he needed some moss. And it's like, all right, well, if you're going to get moss from a different tree, just ask first and say thank you. So, um, dress a tree. Go out and dress up a tree that's out in your yard. Often the tree spirits will appreciate some attention regardless of the tree. Talk to it, hang out with it, give it a hug, hang ribbons in the tree. If you do hang ribbons or strings, I would try to go with natural fibers and materials, as the birds are going to be trying to pick those fibers and use them to, line their nests and such. So, flowers. Flowers are very important. Lots of flowers, because it is the festival of flora. So yeah, put flowers around your home. You can still have flowers delivered.
It's kind of still a ding dong ditch kind of episode, but
Right. It could happen. You can make Hawthorne Brandy. So if you do that, you want to make Hawthorne Brandy. You want Hawthorne flowers, a little bit of sugar or simple syrup, and mix it all together. Or mix the flowers and the simple syrup, and then add in the brandy, and then put it off in a dark spot for a couple weeks. Shake it occasionally, strain, and then bottle it out and enjoy it. So it's supposed to be really good for your heart. It's brandy, of course, it's good for your heart.
And you probably should have thought about it 2 weeks ago, not the week before.
Well,
Beltane.
it depends on when the hawthorn is blooming. So
True.
So trees that are commonly thought of or used during Beltane, hawthorn is a big one. It's a very magical, very, very magical tree. As one of the 3 trees at the heart of the Celtic tree alphabet, or the fairy triad by oak, ash, and thorn. If you've heard someone do a binding ceremony. So traditionally Beltane began when the hawthorn in May blossomed. It's considered a tree of sexuality and fertility, and just a very classic flower to decorate a maple with. So birch is a very feminine tree, and the deities associated with birch trees are mostly love and fertility goddesses. So it's one of the first trees to show leaves in the spring. Ostara, or Eostre, the Celtic goddess of spring, was celebrated in festivities and dancing around and through the birch trees between the spring equinox and Beltane. And birch twigs used to be traditionally used to make the besoms, or the brooms. So a new broom sweeps cleaner, in theory. And maples were often made from birch if hawthorn wasn't available. And birch wreaths were given as lovers' gifts. So you love someone, send them a birch wreath with some hawthorn flowers or something. Rowan trees. So a rowan is a tree of protection and healing. And the branches from the rowan tree were placed as protection over the doors of houses and barns at Beltane to protect from increased fairy activity as they woke from their winter slumber. Sprigs were worn for protection also, and rowan berries have a tiny 5-pointed star on the bottom, reminiscent of the pentagram. So rowan's kind of a big deal. Do your research before you go getting a lot of rowan. If you know, or if you have a rowan tree locally, make sure that you are asking before you take any twigs. Do it cleanly. Cut them cleanly. Don't just, break them. Good night, Wizard. Mr. Wizard, sleep well and rest, and I will talk to you later. And it's be aware when you're out in the forest and you're wild crafting and such. Ask first, and don't be afraid to leave something of yourself behind to say thank you. Because any thoughts about the trees there, Mr. Don?
How much birch water did you buy?
3 gallons.
And how long is that going to take?
Actually, we might be able to drink it for Beltane.
Interesting.
It depends on the alcohol content.
The more the better.
You want warm and fuzzy? Aren't you too old to drink?
It seems that way. Holy crap, I don't even have to drink. I just have to stay up all night and I get a hangover.
Oh man. I've
Horrible.
I've been a bartender. I've been a cocktail waitress. It's been a while since I did those things, but I've been in bars, and you see these not young people sitting at the bar or hanging out and having fun with the kids, and all I can think is like now looking at them and looking back, it's like what the heck are you doing, oh you old fart? And then it's like, how'd you get anything done the next day?
I don't know.
Because nope.
It seems like the only thing I can seriously drink anymore is sake.
You say that like a bad thing.
No, I just need more sake.
Yeah. Kojiken.
Kojiken.
So, yeah. All right. Well, hey, guess what? Bottom of the hour. It's our last break. And I haven't been checking the call line. Good thing no one's called. But it is open. So you can call us if you want. And we'll see you right after break.
Lord, within my sense, as we will, so will be this spell forever. Sisters of the shining moon, heaven, earth, and sea, I call upon you in this hour, bring magic unto me. Brothers, oh, the cauldron cries, that singeth unto me songs of Mother Goddess and the Father in the tree.
Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and we are off adventuring into the spaces between. We are talking about Beltane this evening, and yes, if you wanted to give a call, please do so. It's 213-233-3998. Or if you want to just send me an email, you can do that too. It's wildepaisley@gmail.com. That's WILDEPAISLEY@gmail.com. So yeah, we are talking about Beltane, and yeah, more birch wine than birch beer this time because I don't have any hops. But yeah. So basically, Beltane honors life, and it really does represent the peak of spring, the beginning of summer, and the earth energies that are, rapidly becoming their strongest and most active. Life is bursting as we move into spring, with fertility, and at this point in the wheel of the year, we're no longer looking at potential, we're looking at conception. So, fertility abounds. You see, baby birds are happy, or are chirping and hatching. You can, the baby critters are bouncing around. If you drive around anywhere out in the country, you see the baby calves or sheep, goats, that kind of thing. It's that time of year. And the maiden goddess has just reached her fullness. So she's the manifestation of growth and renewal. And as the union is consummated, the May Queen will become pregnant. And together, the May Queen and May King are symbols of the sacred marriage, or the union of earth and sky. And it just goes from sundown, April 30th, to sundown on May 1st. And it's just a good old time. So I got to thinking, for those of you who have little ones, you don't necessarily want to celebrate fertility around little ones, because that's a different conversation. What do you want to do? How do you do it? Well, they
get a room.
Get a room. Well, the actual lighting of the fire, and because Bel is Celtic for fire, have a little campfire or of some sort with your kids. Celebrate the fire and talk about the story in a PG or G-rated fashion, and kind of explain to them why you're bringing that fire to life, and what the plans are, for the coming year. If you're in a relationship, and it's a good time to renew your intentions or your vows, and to hop over the fire, hand in hand. So it's just, fire is just a cleansing time right now. Create something, not just knocking boots to create a new life. You could create a story, a poem, a sculpture, something that you can breathe new life into. Upcycle something that you've had, that maybe you've had kicking around for a while. It's like, I really love this, but it just doesn't fit my decor, my lifestyle. Upcycle, change it just a little bit. And in give it new life, bring it back to life into your home, repurpose it. And just as Samhain and Beltane have a thinning of the veil, you could seek out the fairies. Just make sure you've got the Rowan to protect you just a bit, because
Maybe a little iron.
yeah, right. It's a time of magic and wonder generally, and things happen when the veil is thin and that energy is there. So you can look for fairies with your children if you want. Just again, be careful.
Don't follow the wisps.
Right. You can look for like acorn caps on riverbanks, or you can make fairy houses. I've been making fairy houses with the mini-me, and I've got one hanging on the wall that she just put a lot of time into, and she had a good time. And it's fun to craft something or create something with your littles. Just bark and moss and popsicle sticks and beads.
Justin says he's Thor after all that plowing.
But dum.
Oh, sorry.
There's a dad joke in there somewhere.
Yep, it sure is.
Goodness. Go camping with your kids, because it's okay if you can go camping, because not everybody has places where the camping areas are open. But at least go for a hike, go to the park. Don't play on the playground equipment because you'll get arrested. But, go to the park, or, something that, you can get back to nature a little bit as much as you can right now. And connect with Earth's energies. If you do have a fire, toast some marshmallows, watch the sunrise, say thank you for life. And oh, you guys with the Thories and Thories.
It was a good Thory at the time. Sorry.
Y'all are punch drunk at this point. You're all tired. Need a good nap, apparently. Goodness. But leap, dance, go wild, have fun, dance. Kids love to dance and do things. If you've got a fire going, a little campfire out there. Just turn some music on, let the kids run around and have a good time and just be kids. Mm-hmm. Especially right now, we need to make sure we're giving our kiddos a chance to just be kids. Because they're stuck at home with mom and dad or Nana, Grandpa, whatever, and whomever they're stuck with. They need to get out too. They need to understand that, life has changed a little bit. Yep. But they need to burn some of that energy. If I didn't let Mini-Me out at least once a day to go burn some energy, she's got a bike that she's trying to learn how to ride. She's slightly gravity challenged. So we've been riding. She rides her bike down so we can go check the mail. And
Justin or Chris, yeah.
You guys are
That's
just
funny.
horrible. You're horrible. But let the kids out. Yeah, let them run and play as much as you can. I know that it's hard right now. Maybe put them on the treadmill, the exercise bike, whatever it is you can do.
Hand them a hoe.
Hand them a hoe. If you can't go to a garden or a park or something like that, go to Home Depot and go hang out in the plant section a little bit. Just sorry, I can't look at the chat anymore.
No,
It's just you guys are being distracting because you're just goofy. Yeah, the pharmacy seeds, because I did lots of fires when I got to see my kids. I always took them camping. Had huge fires, lots of lake time. So, Lake George, Granite Lake, entire lake is pink. Oh, very cool. It's a pink lake because it's pink granite is the base. Well, that's cool. But yeah, whatever you could do to engage your children on your path. And unfortunately, unfortunately, depending on how you want to look at it, there's a lot of written material out there about paganism and witchcraft, and there's actually a fair bit for kids as well. You just need to kind of be aware of what it is, because not all of it is created equal.
Not all of it's based in proper. Too much of it is based in games and.
Yeah, there's a lot of games. There's a lot of
Fiction, the fiction
stuff.
to it.
Yeah, a lot of fiction. A lot of Harry Potter.
You know, there's the mythology of it, but there's a difference. There's a difference between mythology and fiction.
Yes.
So,
real quick, I'm gonna plug myself here slightly. So, Ellen Everett Hopman is an author and druidic priestess, and she, because of her schedule, she's not able to be a live guest. So we're going to do a pre-record, and she's got, oh golly, a bunch of books: Sacred Tree Medicine, a Druid's Herbal for the. It's a book for the Sacred Earth Year, a Legacy of Druids, Being a Pagan, Gifts of the Healing Earth. She's got a kids book in here too. There's Sacred Herbs of Spring, the Sacred Herbs of Samhain, also Scottish Herbs and Fairy Lore, Secret Medicines from Your Garden. Just quite a few books. Tree Medicine, Tree Magic. Oh, Walking the World in Wonder. It's a children's herbal book to, can I get them on the path and get them learning. So I'll be doing that interview here in the coming week. And I think it'll be good. A lot of information. Holy cow, she knows her stuff. So that's Ellen Everett Hopman. And
when are you doing this interview?
so I'm doing the interview on Tuesday.
Okay.
Over lunch. And everything goes right, I will try to get it aired probably Friday.
It's a lot of production.
Yeah, so, well, I'm sheltering in home. So, for now, I don't know. I may get called back to work starting in May. Who knows? It'll be hard to go back because I kind of like this, not having to go to work every day. So.
I think I found your bug.
Yep. He's your bug now.
Yeah, it's just a beetle.
Yep, are you being bugged? So I think it'll be good. I think it'll be great. But she'll be talking more about the druidic path. Because I tried to have someone on periodically talking about their own individual path or their own individual traditions because I'm trying to have myself exposed to as much of that as possible, but because my own ideas are evolving and such, but and thought processes. But if I'm bringing as much information to you guys as possible, I think that's awesome too. So the Ellen, she was recommended by a listener actually. Oh, I'd have to go find that listener again, but Ecogenicist.
Okay.
Is the person who recommended.
Excellent. Well, we can always use all recommendations.
So thank you, Ecogenicist, for the recommendation. And I did reach out to the other person that you recommended, but I haven't heard back. So I'm super stoked that Ellen is willing to be a guest. And it's not her first time around the Earth, the sun, so she should have a lot of good information to share. So yeah, totally stoked about that. Totally. So yeah, but I think one of the hardest things for me on my path right now is how to translate it for mini-me. Because on the one hand, I want her to be a pagan, I want her to embrace the same path because I like having that in common. But at the same time, I want her to make her own choices. So it's been hard. What do you think? As far as, because she asks for explanations why I do different things, and I try to explain it in little girl terms. Some of it she retains, some of it she regurgitates in odd ways. But I don't know. Just
It's interesting, especially with the dogmas, the more famous dogmas. It's hard to fight against a lot of that kind of stuff.
mm-hmm.
And it's like, there are things that you don't want. There are things you don't want your kids to go to school and say.
Right.
So I imagine that it's an interesting balancing act.
It is, and at the same time, I don't want her to feel left out because her friends are celebrating slightly different holidays or different events.
Well, they can still be celebrated. They're all generally celebrated at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just maybe one will happen before the other.
Yeah, I can really see her educating her friends. No, it's not Easter. It's Ostara. In Hermione's tone of voice.
Ostara.
Because she is slightly absolute when it comes to certain
It's
things.
not Sam Hain, it's Saween.
Like, I was listening to a podcast talking about Beltane, and the person pronounced it as Beltane. And it's like, okay, well, it could be Beltane.
Sure, I mean, but, different dialects, so.
Yeah. Beltane. Just like Hecate,
Well, that podcast you were listening to, they were Irish too, weren't they?
Oh, yeah, something like that. He was,
He was very Irish.
yeah.
So, yeah.
You didn't see the pipe that he was smoking while he was talking either.
No,
It had a few years on it, and you could tell it was a favorite.
Mm-hmm.
It was nice and worn. So, but yeah, I don't know, challenging with the kids because you want them to be involved. You want them to ask questions, but a lot of contemporary pagan practices.
Can you imagine her going to school and going, "My mom was talking about plowing fields last night."
The kids wouldn't get it, but the teacher would be like, "What was that?"
What are they teaching you at home?
Right? So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting because you want your kids to learn. So there's the acorns. What is that? Yeah, acorns. Anyways, it's kind of like Girl Scouts or Cub Scouts for pagans.
Oh.
Little acorns.
Okay.
And yeah, it's, I don't know. It's they've done a lot of work taking some of the information and Disneyfying it a little bit so that it's more acceptable to the kids.
True.
And
You'll have to turn him into a Disney princess.
okay, not quite that Disneyfying, but taking that kind of PG-13, PG-17 stuff and turn it into something that a lot of the littles can handle, or you can handle talking to your littles about, because there's a lot of the neo-pagan stuff is not very kid-friendly. It just isn't. And I say neo-pagan because back in the day, pre-Christian and pagan practices, a lot of the stuff was just there. It was open and an accepted part of life. It wasn't, you weren't judged because your kids knew you were plowing the field last night. Well, you lived in a 2-room.
Yeah, exactly. It's not exactly like,
Yeah, the kids were
kids go play in the pig pen.
right.
I gotta plow the field.
A lot of that stuff, you were in one another's hip pockets. I mean, you knew what was going on. You were closer to the earth. You were closer to nature, in many respects. And it wasn't. I don't know. It wasn't looked at like it is today.
Well, yeah, but that was the old times. Now it's like, everybody's got their own room. They've got their own TV. They've got their own devices. So.
Right. Yeah. So. Yeah, I don't know. It's just an interesting trade-off, trying to figure out what to tell the kiddos and how to teach them. One of these times, I hope I can find me a pagan educator so we can have some discussion about that. Someone maybe who writes books. So yeah, if any of you know of someone who is an author or teacher in a pagan-based program, I would love to have them on as a guest. I absolutely would love to have them on as a guest because, I think that would be some interesting information that I just don't have. So, Mr. Don Longbeard, do you have any plans for a Beltane event?
Sure.
You say that was such...
Well, we were supposed to go to the Beltane, the Spokane.
Yeah, Squirrely Productions was going to do a Beltane event.
We can't do that.
Next weekend? Or no, the weekend after next.
Geez, and I got brand new PA system and
right?
Microphones and speakers and
yeah, exactly.
Computer pieces, and it's going to be great.
Yeah, we were going to do a round table kind of discussion and such.
With real microphones where people can actually hear you because there's speakers.
Mm-hmm. And we had talked about possibly doing something here locally with just my local group, and yeah, that's not happening either. Actually, I wouldn't mind, but not everybody is willing to buck the system and come hang out, so that's not going to happen either. So yeah, I don't know. At a time when a lot of us are trying to be more open to being part of the pagan community and join a circle, or at least, rub shoulders with other pagans, suddenly we're all turned into private practitioners.
Sort of like mushrooms.
Yeah, we're all soloists, so, yeah, I don't know. So yes, I will have Ellen's interview up the next weekend, I think, either Friday or Saturday, I don't know. We'll get it figured out. Because, yeah, I'm sheltered in place. I can sit here and listen to things. And then, anything else coming up on Paranormal Portal World that we should share?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. Do you know who the guest is next?
What?
Who's next on the radio on TFR?
I have no clue.
You're supposed to know these things.
I wish I could, but I can't find a decent, schedule. As a matter of fact, I can't even get to the schedule.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it looks like someone's doing some editing.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Oh. Wait, hold on. Apparently I screwed something up.
Oh, did you put Ethan in timeout?
Yeah, it was an accident. No, hold on.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, there it is. Okay. My apologies. My bad. My fat sausage fingers on my phone.
Oh, goodness gracious. There we go. I'm trying to look at the schedule. And it's... maybe I'm just having operator error. Yeah. Oh, there it is. So tonight, oh, it's just me.
I kind of thought so because they moved Duke to Friday nights. So yeah, it's just it's
Oh,
an
it's a
encore.
replay.
Yeah, it's an encore.
Yeah, it's encore for Paranormal Portal. So there.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You get
So-
twice in the same 4 hours.
Yep. Yeah. Thank you, Lucky. Yes. You guys are crazy. So, next weekend, Ellen, celebrate Beltane safely. Enjoy your fire in a safe fashion. Purify yourself. Clean your space.
Muddle your wine.
Muddle your wine. Drink your beer. Enjoy your shroom, whatever it is you're going to do. And then be safe. Wash your hands. Don't lick eyeballs. You know, that kind of thing.
What the?
Hey, if you're close enough to lick someone's eyeball, you are not 6 feet away. I don't care who you are.
It's supposed to be 13, but whatever.
Anyways. You guys have a very great week and enjoy your Beltane. So merry meet and merry part and merry meet again. And we'll see you next week.
Next week.
Friday and Saturday night, 9 p.m. Pacific time.
I'll be on Wednesday with Paranormal Portal.
All right.
See ya.
All right. Bye, guys.
Unless you're Gene Simmons.